Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and I actually was not sure if I was going to review this film, but a long time ago, a friend of mine sent me some DVD-Rs to watch of some newer movies, and one of them happened to be Don't Breathe. And I'm like, well, I had some time. It's been raining out, storming out. Give it a watch. And at the end of the day, I thought it was okay. Don't Breathe, I didn't hate the film. I did not love the film. It's one of those, eh, there's good, there's bad. I mean, it's not one of the best horror films of the decade, whatever the hell one of those reviews were. But awful? Nah, I can't say it's awful. It's well directed. I think the director, Fede Alvarez, who I know did the Evil Dead remake, I'll say right off the bat, I like this more than the Evil Dead remake, but I was opposed to Evil Dead remake, and then I saw it and I went, that's all you did? I mean, there's a lot of good gore, but I didn't watch 50 other movies for gore. Here, I thought there was more to the direction, and I thought there was more to the fact, hey, do your own film. I will say there are elements of this that made me think of other films I enjoy more. The People Under the Stairs with Wes Craven, which I reviewed on here on my channel. I love that movie. And I like that movie more than this. Also, The Collector and The Collection. I love those two. I was going to review them at some point, but then some things were going on, and I was a bit depressed, and I didn't want to watch any horror movies at that point. So one day I want to review those. But I love The Collector and The Collection. It's a great back-to-back movie, and I like those much more than this. And I do think it's sad that The Collector and The Collection kind of got ignored and pushed away, and critics hated it, and they didn't really make any money. But then this film got huge critical praise and grossed over, what, $150 million worldwide? I don't know how much it made in the U.S. alone. It only had a $10 million budget, and I'm thinking, I don't think it was that fucking great. I mean, I don't hate it. Made $89 million in the U.S. and yeah, a total of 157 million worldwide on a $9.9 million budget. I'm thinking, holy shit. I like the idea. People go into this guy's house, and the guy played by Stephen Lane, he's blind. He was a vet, not a fucking veterinarian. I'm talking about soldier, former veteran. I'm not sure if it was Vietnam or so forth. And apparently his daughter had been killed. I want to say by a drunk driver. And the girl who had done the deed was from a rich family, and they paid him off. So these three thieves go in. Our lead, played by Jane Levy, I think she was in the Evil Dead remake. She's doing this because she wants to get her kid sister out of there because she's in a shitty home with a shitty mom and her boyfriend, whoever the hell he was. And then you have this guy who has an infatuation for the girl, and then you have the third person who's an asshole. That's really what he is. He's an asshole. They break in, and Stephen Lane pretty much has the powers of Daredevil and kills the asshole. The other two are stuck in there. And a lot of the film is them trying to get away from this guy, which I thought was the strongest part of the movie. The beginning I didn't care for. The ending I thought was unsatisfying. It's not really downbeat. It was just I felt it was unsatisfying. The middle portion with, which is a good chunk of the film, where Stephen Lane is chasing these two around his house, and I thought it was well directed. I liked some of the lighting. I liked some of the ideas. For example, in the basement, where he takes down the power, and then the camera sort of makes it. It's black and white, but it's to show that they're in the dark. They can't see anything. While Stephen Lane, he knows the area and he knows what's going on. And again, he's pretty much Daredevil's brother in this movie. But I thought Stephen Lane did a pretty good job as the blind man. I'm not a big Stephen Lane guy, but I thought he did a good job here. I do think it was well directed. It's a good looking movie. It's a well shot film. It's It's a short film. Without the end credits, it's about an hour and 24 minutes if you take the end credits off of it. So it's not too long of a movie. So there's stuff I liked about it. Stephen Lane, well directed, interesting concepts. Didn't like that dark basement sequence. One problem I have, I thought the characters were really unlikable. I did not give a flying fuck about them. I thought the lead girl was unlikable. The acting wasn't bad. It's just the character was unlikable. And they try to make me feel for her because, oh, well, she has this sister who's in a shitty home. And I'm thinking, yeah, but you're still going in with your two buddies to a blind man's house. And you know he's blind. And you know he lost his daughter. And you still decide to go into the house. And even in the middle of it, when your buddy has been shot, the other guy who likes you says, we should do this. She goes, no, no, we can't contact the cops because they won't let us keep the money. And yes, I get that the movie's trying to be, well, she's doing this because she wants to get her younger sister out of the shitty home. And I'm thinking, I get it, but I'm not sold on it. I think that's one aspect that the collector did a better job on. Where the arc and character, the reason he was going into this house to break into it was because his love of his life was, I believe her life was in jeopardy if he didn't get this certain item. And her life was going to be a living hell, and he had to do this for the woman he loves so that she'd be safe. That makes more sense to me as to why this guy's doing this than these three people breaking into this blind man's house. So I just don't like any of the characters. And then of course the one guy's an asshole, and the other guy's a little bit pussy whipped, and he's probably the most likable of the three, but still not enough to make me go, yeah, he's a great character. Not really to me. So unlikable characters. A lead I did not care for. Didn't care if she lived. I didn't care if she died. I didn't care. And there was a part of me that goes, man, I should root for Stephen Lane's character. He seems more likable than the three going in. And then, other than concepts that I've seen done better than the people under the stairs, like the whole stuff with the dog, it reminded me of People Under the Stairs, which had a dog. And, you know, the dog chasing down our lead. That's another movie that worked better with people breaking into this house because you had Fool, who was a little kid who was being sort of pushed into it by Ving Rhames and being, what's the word I'm looking for, cajoled and guilt, being made to feel guilty. Oh yeah, you don't want to do this? Well, your family's going to be out on the street while these people are getting rich off you. So he got influenced and made to feel guilty about his very sick mom who's coughing, and his family being out on the street. So Fool, Brandon Adams, might have said his name wrong, but the lead kid, they made it so that I feel more for that character and I can root for that character in People Under the Stairs. Same with the collector and Arkin. Josh Stewart, very likable character in the collector and the collection. And yeah, he's a human being, so he's not perfect, but none of us are, but he's still a great character in a horror film. And I'm looking to see, I mean, yeah, Josh Stewart hasn't done much recently, which is too bad, but anyway, get back to this. So other than not liking the three leads, and I swear to God though that someone knew this. What I mean by it is they pull this ridiculous and fucking stupid, I don't know if I want to say twist in the third act, where the two alive go into the basement and they see a woman tied up. And we're made to know, oh, that's the woman who killed the guy's daughter in a drunk driving. Okay, it's a revenge aspect. And then more stuff happens, and then you get 10 or 20 minutes later. Oh, it's not just that. He had inserted some fluids into her because Stephen Lane goes, well, she took my baby away from me. I want her to make a new baby for me. No, I said I would let her go when she gave it to me. Yeah, I'm sure you would. I'm sure she. Yeah, and I'm sure she wouldn't just go to her cop and go, hey, look what this motherfucker did to me. And I swear they went, you know what? No one's going. A lot of people are not going to like these three, and they're going to like Stephen Lane more, this blind psycho more. So we really have to make him really, really, really evil. So he takes the lead girl and he takes a turkey baster full of cum and ready to stick it up her cooch. He's ready to have a Thanksgiving stuffing right there. And it ain't fucking milk. Man milk. Ready for a cum catcher mustache. I, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought it was fucking stupid. And then what happens is the guy who likes her, the guy that was with her, we thought he was stabbed. He wasn't stabbed. Something else happened anyway. He gets down, knocks the guy out. They handcuff him. They're kicking the shit out of him. And he even says, you guys go ahead and leave. And they don't take the gun that was with him. They don't take that with them. Somehow the killer got out of the gun. Got out of the handcuffs. And right when they open the door, shoots the guy and kills him finally. And then that's when the ending's a bit unsatisfying, where the girl and Stephen Lane sort of have a struggle, and then Stephen Lane falls. She runs out of the house as the cops are finally coming, and then it's later on. She has the money. She's with her little sister, as she sees on TV that Stephen Lane is alive, and it was just two people went into his house and tried to kill him, but he stopped his attackers, but he got maimed, and he says that nothing is missing, and she's confused and a bit shocked. She goes out with her sister, and the movie ends. And I'm thinking, I hope, are you setting it up for a sequel? Are you just saying, hey, he survived, as if maybe you want to do more with the blind man? I would not be surprised if this is getting a sequel. I would not be surprised if I typed up here and they said there is a sequel. I would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. What the fuck? Apparently another country is going to remake this movie for them. Okay, good luck. But yeah, I don't know what to say about it other than that. It's a 87% of Rotten Tomatoes, so a lot of critics enjoy it. The beginning of the film, it's a long shot pushing in where he's pulling this woman by the hair. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, it's the middle of broad daylight, and he's in the middle of the fucking street. And then you find out later that the whole neighborhood is dead. And this is not me nitpicking the film. This is me asking a serious question because I'm very curious about in Michigan, if anyone's in there. Are there big sections and neighborhoods that's completely empty and dead? I'm not saying that as I don't believe it. I'm just, want to learn more information about that. Because if that's the case, then yeah, you do create some interesting horror films where you have an entire neighborhood that's actually empty and that's a real thing. I mean, other than after Hurricane Katrina, where that was all everyone had to head out. But like I think it takes place in Michigan. I think this takes place in Detroit or something. Anyway, oh yeah, the reason I said before how I didn't care for the opening of the film, I mean, him pulling a woman by her hair, I'm like, okay, it's kind of weird. But it's the introduction of our three main characters and their assholes. They break into this person's home and they wreck all their shit. For some reason, the asshole pisses on the floor. Now, Grant, I'm not a CSI guy, but if you piss on the floor, doesn't that give your DNA away? I'm asking. This is not me nitpicking. Well, it is, but I'm asking a serious question. If I'm pissing on the floor of someone I'm stealing, once someone collect that, oh shit, who's this? Let's check that DNA. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm supposed to like these fucking people, and this woman, our lead, literally stealing someone's clothes and landing on their bed and changing clothes in the place you're breaking into and stealing all their shit, and it's kind of hard for me to root for you. And yeah, poor your little sister, poor, but your little sister's not dying. She's not sick. You just have a mom who's you have a mom who sucks. But again, this is not really a rant. It's more of I do think it's overrated. I think it's yeah. Here's the quote. It's on the fucking poster. The best American horror film in 20 years. Film Filmmaker magazine, really? Filmmaker magazine. This is the best American horror film in 20 years? Okay. Then we're shit out of luck with horror movies then. If this is the best American horror film in the past 20 years, we're shit out of luck for horror movies then. Again, I don't hate the film. I'll repeat, it has good direction. It's a good looking film. It's short enough that it's not really that boring. The premise setup is interesting enough. Stephen Lane does a good job. And you have some good tense scenes of people trying to narrowly avoid Stephen Lane as he goes back and forth, and them trying to keep quiet, and the whole sequence being in the basement. But unlikable lead, unlikable characters, no reason for me to root for them. The beginning, especially the ending, it was just unsatisfying. It just felt like, oh, that's it? Okay. Just an unsatisfying ending and a ridiculous, stupid twist for the third act, which wasn't needed. Wasn't needed. It wasn't. At the end, it was almost as if, well, we really gotta make them not like Stephen Lane because we know these other characters suck, but we gotta make Stephen Lane even more evil. So turkey baster full of cum. It seems like something fucking Eli Roth would come up with. Like if he did that fucking movie for that trailer of Thanksgiving, he would do that. A turkey baster full of cum. Which then the lead girl takes and sticks it in Stephen Lane's mouth. And then come touch her mustache. But I mean, anyway, I said I didn't have much to say, but it's fucking still 20 minutes. But Don't Breathe, it's there. It's okay. I thought it was average. Well directed, but I prefer Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I like The Conjuring more. I'm thinking of newer ones. That's harder to do. Collector, The Collection, The Final Girls. I enjoyed that more. Cooties. Funny, I'll say it. I enjoy that more. I do. I like that movie. But yeah, I mean, but I've seen much worse. It seemed much, 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 much worse. So that's why I can't say it's a rant. Especially older, newer horror. I was seeing a lot worse than Don't Breathe. It's okay. It's all right. See you guys later.